reportedly considering taking Kansas Jayhawks swingman Josh Jackson with the first pick over Markelle Fultz. They're also a top contender to land Gordon Hayward. So between the first pick in Hayward, Stephen A., you spoke highly of this team earlier, but would this be enough to take the Celtics over the top?
I think the combination, him alone, no, but I think the combination of him and the right pick with the #1 overall pick while keeping Isaiah Thomas and the rest of the team in tow could definitely make some noise, and it could give the Cleveland Cavaliers a huge, huge challenge. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and so we have to see what's going to happen in that regard. The Celtics have maneuverability at their disposal, and somebody's got to be willing to say, we're going to step up and we're going to challenge this notion that the Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be the two teams battling for the NBA crown over in the foreseeable future. Somebody else has to do their job instead of being concerned about keeping their job and ingratiate themselves into those proceedings. And I think an individual like Danny Ainge is perfectly qualified to do just that. Danny Ainge has been on the record saying it's going to be real interesting to see what teams are going to step up and embrace the challenge of trying to knock off these two juggernauts. What moves are they going to make? Not just with the draft, but in free agency and beyond. What's going to happen? Danny Ainge is qualified to that, and more importantly, he has the cachet to make moves and take chances because he's already proven himself to be an elite executive in this league with the trades that he has made, bringing KG Ray Allen with Paul Pierce and acquiring Rondo, all right? And then you sit up there and ultimately trade Doc Rivers, essentially, to the Clippers. And you trade KG and Paul Pierce to Brooklyn for a multitude of draft picks. And now you find yourself in this pristine situation. Danny Ainge has the cachet to take a chance and make a mistake if it leads to that without getting but so much vitriol aimed in his direction because he has proven he is an elite executive. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got my eyes on Boston, and I think they can make some noise in the East next year against Cleveland.
There is a tide in the affairs of men, Stephen A., which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and misery. Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Stephen A.
Yes,
you
sir.
see,
Yes, sir.
that's where Danny Ainge sits right now. That's where
I actually, you know what? I actually like the quote.
It's
I mean, it's the Shakespeare, but I actually liked it. I actually liked it.
He does it off the top of his dome. It's beyond.
Let me give you a more modern quote. I usually quote hip-hop lyrics, but I'll quote like
Max.
Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and when to let them ride. Danny Ainge is a great GM precisely because when everyone wanted him to push his chips to the middle of the table by the trade deadline this last season, he looked around and he said, nope, LeBron's not ready to fall yet. The timing is not quite right. He has so many assets. The #1 pick. Don't forget, Jaylen Brown was the #3 pick. Don't forget, Marcus Smart was the #6 pick. He's got a very inexpensive superstar, or the next thing to it, in Isaiah Thomas, who's an offensive superstar. Avery Bradley, as you mentioned, Al Horford, Jay Crowder, who's an excellent player. So many different, easily movable parts and assets. So he can make a move, and they're going to sign Gordon Hayward, it looks very likely. He can make a move. The question is if he does it. Now, should he? And if he does, is it enough to put them over the top against the Cavs? And amazingly, I still don't think it is. As I mentioned earlier in the show, the history of the NBA shows you that the teams that win championships, that get over the hump, are the teams with a top 5 player on them and other stars. None of the guys I mentioned is a top 5 NBA player. The exceptions, when you get a Detroit Pistons team, a Bad Boys team, or the 04 version, or a Dallas Mavericks team, they do something special that no one else does. The Pistons played defense better than anyone. The Mavericks were taller than everyone and shot the ball better than everyone, right? This Celtics team, as deep and excellent as it is, and it will improve as LeBron is descending, I don't see where this upcoming season they bring on enough firepower to get them over the top against the Cavs, amazingly, because Ainge has done a fantastic job and they have a ton of firepower.